Peace be with you from University Ministry. I'm Sister Christina, the Assistant Director of University Ministry and a Sister of Divine Providence. I'd like to welcome you to our virtual StudyCon. Each semester, departments around the university team up and create this experience to help students focus on their mind, body, and spirit during the preparation for finals. This time of year can bring anxieties that distract from our studies and our sense of purpose. Take some time to center yourself so that you can finish the semester strong. We begin with the Providence Blessing. Gathered here right now are staff members from Student Support Services and resource offices from across our campus, the Academic Center for Excellence, Sultan's Library, Olu Wellness Center, Advising, Student Advocacy, Accessibility Services, Campus Recreation, and University Ministry. We are all here to pray for you, as well as to provide practical supportive materials which you will learn more about after the Providence Blessing. We're grateful that you've made this space for yourself, to sit with us in the Spirit, and to pray with those of us gathered here.
As we gather for this prayer, let us remember, for where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. May the God of wisdom, knowledge, and grace be with you.
And with your spirit.
We are here today to ask God's blessing on our students. Studies are hard, yet the reward is great. If we listen to God, He can lead us to a knowledge of oneself and one's call to serve in the world. May God enlighten our hearts and minds as we listen now to the word of God.
Sisters and brothers, listen to the words of the book of Sirach. If you wish, you can be taught. If you apply yourself, you will be shrewd. If you are willing to listen, you will learn. If you give heed, you will be wise. Frequent the company of the elders. Whoever is wise, stay close to that person. Be eager to hear every godly discourse. Let no wise saying escape you. If you see a person of prudence, seek that person out. Let your feet wear away his or her doorstep. Reflect on the precepts of the Lord. Let God's commandments be your constant meditation. Then God will enlighten your mind, and the wisdom you desired, God will grant. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Let us now contemplate the words of Father John Martin Moy, the founder of our Sisters of Divine Providence. His writings continue to guide the life of this university and offer us joy and hope in times of anxiety. God knows all your needs since God knows everything. God can provide for them since He is all-powerful. God wills us to do so since He is our Father and loves us as His children. What could you be troubled about? Let us leave the future to Providence and take advantage of the present. Let us do everything that depends on us, and God will take care of what concerns us. Whatever happens, everything will turn to the glory of God and our benefit.
Those of us who have planned tonight's StudyCon ask these intentions for all of our students, confident in God's loving providence and constant care.
On behalf of the Sultan's Library, may you go forth in a spirit of curiosity, that during this time of finals, you remember the joy of learning and celebrate your intellectual and personal growth over the last semester.
On behalf of Campus Recreation, may you go forth in good health, that you continue your healthy habits or develop new ones to fit your fitness goals.
On behalf of Accessibility Services, may you go forth with confidence and focus, that you feel the Holy Spirit guiding you and covering you in peace.
On behalf of the Olu Wellness Center, may you go forth with strength of body, mind, and spirit. May you enjoy good health, find mental clarity, that your troubled heart is calmed, and that you find peace within.
The Academic Center for Excellence, pray you may go forth in a spirit of peace and perseverance. You study and review for your finals, that you know your ACE friends will assist you and support your studies, and that with the strength of Providence, you may remain confident in spirit and knowledge as you complete your final exams and projects.
On behalf of advising and student advocacy, may you go forth with an encouraged spirit, feeling the support of all those whose passion it is to empower you to advocate for yourself as you discover your educational path during this time of finals and beyond.
On behalf of University Ministry, may you go forth with a refreshed heart and rejuvenated mind, with trust in the abundant love and mercy of life lived in the care of our provident God, and with the knowledge that every step of the way you have a community of caretakers and companions to walk with you in this spirit.
May these prayers and all the prayers within our hearts we heard and responded to by God as we pray the words that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. This is the part where I give some encouraging words. The first encouraging word that I want to say to you is I'm sitting here looking at my screen at a good number of people at the lake who are behind you, who support you, who love you, who encourage you, and want nothing but the best for you, and want you to know that they are here for you. And so you need to know that you've got a lot of people supporting you. At this time, when we come to the StudyCon, I always go back to something my mother said to me. And, you know, on those days of tests when I would get up and I'd be all worried and kind of in the house, and, you know, mom could pick that up and moms could sense that. And I'd say, just pray that I do well on my test, Mom. And her words were always, Kevin, do the best you can. And that's what I would encourage all of you to remember. You're here at the lake. You didn't get in the lake because you don't have abilities or talents or gifts. You came to the lake and you were accepted into the lake because you do. Put it to work. Allow those things that you learned in your classes, those things you read, the things that you studied to percolate and to get you through this time. I encourage you to take a little time for prayer. Make sure you get some rest. Make sure you, if nothing else, go outside for a walk and breathe in some air. You are a student in a university at a most difficult and challenging time. Distance learning, in a time of quarantine, in a time of pandemic. We've never been here before. And we as staff, as ministers, as faculty, we understand that. We understand that. And so we know that you're under some pressures this year that in normal years you would not have experienced. But you need to know that you have people who support you and who are behind you. So I encourage you to persevere, to keep going. The other thing I would say to you, it's kind of like whenever I was a seminarian and I was in Chicago one summer in a predominantly Puerto Rican parish, the kids all said, we went to Great America, you got to go on the roller coasters. You got to go on the roller coasters. There were like 7 of them. And I was like, oh, heck no. I hate roller coasters. I hate roller coasters. And so what I would do is I would get up in the line and I would see how long it would take for the ride to last. And then I would say, Lord, help me get through that 2 minutes. And then I'd get on, I'd close my eyes, and I went on all 7 roller coasters. Well, just remember, the exams and the projects will have a completion time and a completion date. I'm not saying close your eyes because you got to do the work. But I would say just remember there is an end to all of this. And so do your best. Try to keep your focus. Take a deep breath. Say your prayers and do well. Do the best you can. Let us bow our heads and receive God's blessing. Provident God, send your Spirit upon our students and fill them with your wisdom and blessings. Grant them the strength and perseverance as they prepare for the final days of this semester. Help them to call forth the knowledge within them and the courage to complete the tasks ahead of them. We ask this in faith, trust, and the assurance that you are with them always. And may Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Again, I'm leaving you in the hands of some people who are fantastic and who are gifted and want to share what they have with you and to help you through this time. I'm grateful that I'm a part of this, but the other thing you need to know is, as I do my evening prayer in a little while, you will be in my prayers. As I go for my 5-mile walk, you will be in my prayers. As I get up tomorrow morning, you will be in my morning prayers and my daily mass. And I'll be there in the University Chapel tomorrow at 12:30. If any of you need to cry out, if any of you need to scream, I won't let you punch me, but I'm there to listen if I can help you in any way. So thank you. And just know that you're in my prayers, and I'm sure everyone else's prayers for a successful completion of this semester.
Thank you again for joining us and making prayer a part of your preparation for finals. May you each find peace as you prepare for the end of the semester to finish strong, Saints strong.
And remember that all of us are here for you, and that's really what the rest of this is about, is learning all of the different ways that we are here for you and all of the different resources that you have. And so as we jump into this and as you go through the rest of your finals, peace be with you.
Thank you so much, University Ministry, for that. Y'all say a prayer for me. We started very late today, y'all. Welcome to StudyCon Online Fall 2020, and I blame myself. I lost my wallet, so therefore I can't get into the building. I may have done a bad thing driving to campus. But we are here, and we are here to talk to y'all, to be here with you, to let you know that we're all thinking about you, and we've got support for you. And yes, you are very loved and are in all of our hearts and minds right now, okay? And I'm talking to all my OLU students. I'm talking to all you students out there. Everybody out there who's getting ready for finals right now and who's just trying to make it to 2021. So my name is Sabrina. I am often hosting these types of things for the Academic Center for Excellence. This is StudyCon. And I have with me here today some amazing and beautiful people from the university, across the university. I had a whole little speech written, but since we're running late, I'm going to skip it. Just know that this year has been stressful, but you know, the loving arms of 2021 are reaching out to us. And so let's hope and pray and keep the hope that things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. Okay, it's just going to take some time. Let's kick this off. Dr. Rivera-Hainaj is here with us today, and she's going to give us a little bit of a welcome.
Thank you, Sabrina. Buenas noches. Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Father Kevin, for those great, encouraging words. you stole about half of what I was going to say. So I'm not going to repeat that. Not still, great minds think alike, right? But I just want to, kind of like resonate some of what Father Kevin and Sister Christina and Creighton has shared already with you. First of all, welcome to StudyCon 2020. Couldn't come any sooner. We're almost there at the brisk of finishing this semester. The end of the tunnel is within sight, so we just need a little bit of more gas to get through to that end of the tunnel. So we really are here to welcome you to StudyCon, but also encourage you to just keep going, because the winter break is going to come. You'll be able to, you just came from Thanksgiving holiday, a little bit of re-energization there, getting this last stretch, and then we'll have the winter break just to get quite of a respite before engaging to the next semester. I know the transition to mostly online courses have been a little bit of a challenge for some students and for some faculty. We're all being, kind of in the same boat, just in different positions of this boat. And I just cannot thank enough all our faculty, our staff, and our students to be willing to take on the challenge and continue the academic journeys of each one of you. Because everybody has an academic journey, from a student to a staff member to a faculty member. And we're all in the same boat. Again, we just have different roles to make this boat to go forward. So with that, I don't want to take too much time. I know there's a full agenda of great things happening. Thank you to Dr. Kamara and her awesome staff in the Academic Center for Excellence as they are organizing the logistics of StudyCon. And thank you to all the other offices across campus that always say yes. Thank you for saying yes to our students. And thank you for being here tonight with us. So Sabrina, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. H. I'm social media. I'm social media-ing that we're live. That's incorrect, and they call me a professional. Okay, so let's hear from a couple of peoples that I work with regularly. And they're okay folk. They're okay folk. I'm just kidding. We love them. Dr. K, Dr. Cheshire, possibly Sister Anna. I don't know if she's on there. Maybe she's on there. Dr. Cheshire, just to let you know, I muted you earlier because you weren't muted. Got to follow the rules.
Welcome this evening to our online StudyCon Fall 2020. We have a variety of things planned for you. We also have, we will have the page up for StudyCon 2020 throughout finals. So you can self-pace. You can go back at various times and look at tips. I want to encourage you to go back and look at some of the episodes in Playing the Ace. They might help you through finals also. Some really good tips about studying in a virtual space, and writing emails to professors in ways that will lead to greater success. The Academic Center for Excellence is going to be open through finals, through the end of class. We will have availability for tutoring upon request. So if you find that you want to work with a tutor, you want to study with a tutor, give us a call, email either me or Sabrina, or tutoring at OLUSA, writing at OLUSA, and we'll get that information up and on our StudyCon finals page and on our blog, so that you can check it out and you know how to get in touch with us if you'd like some extra support. This evening we'll have things that deal with the body and the mind and the spirit, as has been brought up so beautifully by Sister Christina. And I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope, despite the struggles for finals, that you find peace and enjoy the learning. Dr. Cheshire. would you like to add?
Absolutely. It's so great to see everybody here, all cozy in their own little spaces. It seems like StudyCon is always a really frantic, wild ride, but this is it seems kind of. And I really I appreciate that we have that, and I want everybody to sort of revel in that a little bit while we're here. But if you are out there and you're interested in getting to work and buckling down on some studying at any point tonight, we have a lot of tutoring available for you right now. We have 4 different tutoring rooms that are just a click of a link away. They're all on the website right now. We have math tutoring room with Sister Ann hosting that. I think that's probably why she's not here on the panel with us, because she's getting that room ready. We have a science tutoring room with Laura, our professional tutor there. And we have 2 Jeopardy games going on, one for college algebra and one for accounting 1. So you're in the midst of studying those exams, and I really want to encourage you to also take advantage of all of the great programming here tonight. But if you want to just hop over and ask a few questions, we've got 4 different tutors all prepared and ready for you, with some really cool games to play, and but they're still going to get you some studying done, and then rooms where you can just go in and just ask questions for your homework or whatever that you're dealing with in science or your math classes. And again, for the rest of the semester.
Yes, I can't encourage you enough to try out some of those games, and we will have prizes. So it's a fun way to study. Thanks. Sabrina?
Okay, sounds good. So as I put in the chat of YouTube, all of those links to the tutoring games, the open tutoring rooms, the book raffle. We've got a great book gift basket raffle going on. You can find them for all our OLU students at the StudyCon website, libguides.ollusa.edu/StudyCon Online. I just put it in the chat of the YouTube. So if you pop on there, you can get that link. Go check it out. For all of our students, we sent out that flyer. That link is on there. Go get signed up for that. Okay. Right now, I think there's only like 8 people signed up. So, good chances of winning. So yes, I think we should talk to one of our next partners here. And, it's very fitting. I'm freezing in the office right now, broadcasting. Hey, Maria Cabanis, director of the library. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry to hear that you're freezing there in the library. But I guess it's better than being too hot, which is what we've had a week or so ago. So
I'd rather be freezing, Maria, to be honest. I'd rather be freezing. Uh-oh. Hang on, Maria, we lost you a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Yes. Sorry. It looked like I lost you a little bit. So library's still open, yes?
Library is open. We are open, and I think that's really a good reminder. I was talking to a student the other day, freshman student with a research project, which was awesome. But as we were talking, one thing that I realized was I was answering all these questions about all the stuff the library does. This student actually hadn't really been to the library because of the pandemic and everything going on, and maybe just not even aware that the library was even open and that was even an option. So we are definitely open. We have an array of virtual and in-person services available to students. Yes, we do have very different, we are using the building very different. There are a lot of different restrictions that we put in place for safety reasons, but we are available to help students online and in person, and in a variety of different ways. So I think that's really good, just to remind everybody that we are here and we will be open through finals. So
Okay, awesome. So remember, students, you still have your library. It is available for to use. Bring a sweater. But all your resources are here, okay? So even though y'all are online, remember too, library, they have online ways to communicate with reference librarians. Every time you go to the library website, hey, click in that chat and tell them, I'm kind of maybe looking for this. Or and they're gonna help direct you. So again, no, all your services are here for you, okay? My mic sounds a little funny, y'all. But I think it's just me. Okay. Thank you, Maria. I know we just heard a lot of stuff, y'all. This is only the first hour. We're gonna get into a group of people. And I think I'm waiting. Oh, I see him in here. Okay. We're gonna talk with a group of people now here. And I love this group of people because we're gonna be talking about some stuff. We've got holidays, we've got finals, just got the end of 2020 in general. A lot of stress, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things going on. As I said, I lost my wallet and I'm feeling very panicky right now. But we've got some great people to talk about mind, body, and spirit. We have representatives from our Olu Wellness Center. Dr. Jay is here. Ms. Janet Huppel is here. And Ms. Janet Huppel, we're going to hear from also later in our live Playing the Ace episode too. We've got Kyle from Rec Sports here with us and our university ministry team. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. Just remember, our live streaming flashes to 1% at a time. So as y'all introduce yourselves and say hello, try to go one at a time. Dr. J, you can kick us off.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. Sabrina, hang in there. We're all going to work together, pray, do everything we can to help you find your wallet. It'll all be all right. Take some deep breaths. I'm happy to be here with, I guess we're going to do kind of like a panel thing, right? Where we're talking about self-care from all of these various or related to various aspects of life. So I'm really excited to be talking with all of my colleagues about this. So I'll let someone else take over for a little bit.
Well, and I can already kind of prompt y'all. So let's talk about this. Right now, this whole online learning has been quite an adjustment for a lot of people. It not only challenges our mindset, it challenges us physically as well, emotionally, and in many cases spiritually. What can we offer? What do we have here for our students who are trying to just kind of get to the end of the semester? What are some things that are I mean, how do you do it? Like, say I'm a student, I've got all of this going on. Which one do I tackle first? It seems like everything is in shambles.
I mean, I might be the last person to answer this one because I don't always have things just this, and this. And because I don't, I just recognize a different style that I operate out of, and I don't tend to worry about certain things. I know, I think it's just a sense of just really tapping into who you are and what your sort of limits are, where your strengths are, and to understand. And I think that helps. When you understand that, it helps to give you a sense of peace. You go through things to realize you can get it all done. You can get the things that you really need to get done finished. And sometimes the things you can't get done, maybe it's not really the end of the world sometimes. Sometimes it's a reason that you put that last. It can help you to discover your path. So, I mean, in my own case, yeah, sometimes I don't get everything I need to get done finished. But, the other pieces of my life work out in different ways. And so it's, I think really understanding like who you are, I think it's really important to understand the way that you operate and to plan accordingly. So there's sometimes I have to change my patterns of behavior, depending on the time of the year, what's going on. So I think that's one thing I tend to do, just really trying to understand how I operate and then just understand that that sort of doing your best that Father Kevin talked about earlier is really a sense of understanding your gifts, understanding who you are, and realizing that that is enough. Taking a little bit of time to just to really recognize that what you're doing, what you're up to, is enough. To be a little gentle with yourself, and I think that's a lesson we all like learn right from the start here. I would say the same to you, like Sabrina. Right? It's like all these things happen. You could have done this. You could have done that. You could have. But sometimes we just need gentleness with ourselves to open ourselves to that grace of just the moment is how it's playing out, and appreciate that moment.
It makes me really think about like values and priorities, right? And oftentimes when I'm talking to students about kind of how to navigate these sorts of things, values and priorities look very different for people given your unique circumstance. And so sometimes we're playing a comparison game and it's really not an apples to apples thing. So we really have to try to fight our tendency to do that. But one of the sort of like visual images I give students is with regards to prioritizing, it's like we're juggling a ton of things. We're juggling a ton of different responsibilities, school, work, home, right? Different relationships, various classes. And if we think of them in terms of like we're juggling balls, some of the balls are glass and some of them are plastic. And there are going to be, some balls that we cannot drop because they will shatter, right? Those are our priorities, the things that we hold with the highest regard. But other things might fall by the wayside, and it's not going to be the end of the world. If we drop that, we can pick it up when we have more room and space and time, right, to navigate that additional responsibility. So being able to create, just kind of feeding off of Creighton, being able to identify which items or responsibilities are glass and which ones are plastic can help you plan accordingly and prioritize what needs to get done.
Let me ask this. Janet, I know you had something to say too. But let me ask this. Let me throw this out there though for everybody. How do you let go of the feeling that you can't drop them? That it's okay. Actually, let me put it this way. How do you accept the feeling that it's okay to sometimes drop them?
That's a great question. I think it takes a lot of reflection to identify, like we can continue to tell ourselves, oh, it's okay, but usually that's not helpful. What we need to do is work through what are we afraid is going to happen if we do. What are we afraid is going to happen? What do we think it's going to say about us? What are we afraid of? Are we afraid of how people are going to perceive us? What is the negative consequence we're trying to avoid by trying to manage all of that? And oftentimes they're really fears, right? Oftentimes those fears aren't super rooted in reality. And so we can then start, thinking about, well, actually how, what might be a more realistic and healthy perspective of this situation and how we're navigating if we happen to let something fall by the wayside.
I would agree with what Dr. J said. And I think like when I meet with students and they're worried about maybe being behind, like right now, with online and all the things that are going on, there's a lot of students that are feeling like they're behind. And what I tell them is, okay, let's talk about some options, like let's talk about what you can do, but let's also think about, we have to know where we are. Because some of them I'll say, well, have you responded to the professor? Well, no, I haven't because I'm worried about what they're going to say. And so I compare it to you know, when I know I need to go on a diet, I have to weigh myself, right? Because I have to get a baseline. And so I tell them I don't like to do that, but I have to know. And so it's kind of the same thing with your studies. You have to know where you are and what you have to get done. And so I think Dr. J, like I think what she was saying about being able to drop some things, I think a lot of times it's within ourselves that we feel like someone might be disappointed or that we're not living up to a standard, when really that standard might be in our own perception and not even that person's, you know? So I just think, you know, realizing that people are like, we're here, the professors are here to help, we're all here to help. And, you know, that we want to support. And I think it's okay to be real of how you feel.
And also we're like thinking about it in terms of almost like of disappointment, or of like letting something fall to the wayside or dropping a responsibility. But we could be really intentional about things and decide to put this to the side right now, right? And that gives us the sense of control that will probably also be more helpful in kind of reconstructing a narrative about us dropping the ball. Well, if we're deciding that, you know what, that's not the priority right now, I'm going to put my efforts towards something else, that sort of negative or more critical self-talk is less likely to occur because we're actively choosing to do that. Go ahead, Creighton.
Well, I think what we're talking about here, it's when you say the fear and there's a fear of letting certain things go. We often think of that fear in just some kind of negative indicator. You know, Thomas Merton, one of the just a really sort of well-known spiritual writer, Trappist monk in the mid 20th century. I mean, he wrote sort of what you fear is an indicator of what you seek. And so it's hard sometimes in the midst of this chaos of the finals, right? Because we all have to step back, faculty, staff, students as well, step back and to realize that at every university, every college campus across the world, and as it's the end of the semester, it's just brutalizing. And it's that way for faculty. We've got to grade all of these things. It's really brutalizing. And sometimes, after professors sort of dead after grading all this, then they have to take a couple of days really just to stop. So it's hard to do that sometimes in the middle of all this. And that's really why we made some of on the website, you'll find these like mindfulness snacks, right? They're just little times to stop, because we know right now you can't stop for maybe 3 or 4 hours, or just take the afternoon for a really long walk to discover yourself. But yet there are these indicators. So, Merton saying what you fear is an indication of what you seek. I think, maybe just flag it, pay attention, maybe just flag it, write it down. This is what I fear. We have a 5-minute journaling, for instance. You could take that one word. What do you fear? Just write it down. You don't have to solve the problem now. You don't have that's your life work in a way. I think that we get caught up in every assignment's going to, if I don't finish this, I don't do this, then my life goes off this cliff, and it's like you're the road runner. Is it the road runner? No, it's the coyote, right? Runs off the cliff and just running, and then once you stop, if I don't do this, once you have that moment, I'm not going to do this, you just fall down, and it's like, it's over. But I think you do have to stop and just say, like, it's this fear that I have is also, there's a positive. It's not just something that is a negative. There's a real positive there about not just what I'm drawn to, but what am I sort of running from? I think and just to know that takes time. But really take the time. That takes a longer span of time just across your life. And I don't know if you ever get to that point where you're like, I'm totally enlightened, I'm good. No, nobody on this panel, I'm guessing, has. I don't. If you have, tell me your secrets. But it's like you do stop to realize that, okay, this is the moment. This is that real fear that I'm in this moment, and how then can I just stop? And you really have to break that cycle. So do one of those mindfulness snacks or stuff, right? There's some breathing exercises. There's different yoga videos up there. There's like a journaling exercise. And, oftentimes we don't think that we have the time to do it. And so there's an introduction to the mindfulness snacks. And in that, say like St. Francis de Sales says, you should meditate for 30 minutes every day, except when you're really busy. Then you go a full hour. We realize you may not have that, but take the time, because that'll help you step back. And then because you can't, when you're in the weeds, you can't recognize what the whole trajectory looks like. And you have to take some moments and stop and just say, it'll be okay, or just work through it, breathe, write it out, do something to let it go. And I guess the other thing that really strikes me is that, and I think that's the spirit of this whole gathering here, is that look for people who can open your world, right? Look for people who can help give you some of that perspective. And that sometimes can happen in 3 or 4 minutes, just chatting with someone. So, that's why we're here in many ways. Just reach out. And I think you need people to help guide you. Here in ministry, we all have spiritual directors. We all do counseling. We all do those things regularly. So take that time. You can always reach out to us. And so that's what we're here for.
So interesting enough, when I was a student and, felt like I had dropped the world and it came rolling back at me, I often I'd go for a walk. One of my favorite things to do would be to walk around campus. And I know that part of also too, Kyle, you're here. You did some great videos. Thank you, Kyle, for the home workouts and yoga. So some stretching and some things that I think could really. Did you, I don't know if anybody else out there who's watching, but sometimes I get so frustrated that I just want to like shake my limbs out and be like, I get so like, pent up kind of. And that's when I often found like, I need to go spend some energy. But that fits it. And I know Kyle Rec Sports is always doing different kinds of stuff, not just physical, but y'all do all kinds of things for students in that. What do you think right now? What are your thoughts on what can best help students right now?
Yeah, so there's a few things that I want to touch on to all you guys. For those of you that are still on campus or commute to campus that live in the San Antonio area, I just want you to remember that the UAC is still open at this time. And we've got extended hours now that a lot of the athletes are gone. So it's open 12 to 6 every day, Sunday to Saturday. So 7 days a week, 12 to 6. You can go and work out anytime in there. Like you mentioned, Sabrina, I've got some at-home workout demonstrations right on the StudyCon website that you can check out if you don't feel safe going to the gym, or if you're not in San Antonio and you don't have a gym nearby. It's stuff that you can do, just body weight exercises that you can do right at home. And also, we've got some of our old yoga and Pilates classes online on our Campus Recreation Microsoft Stream channel. If you don't know what Microsoft Stream is, it's okay. I didn't either. Basically, it's an app that we have as part of our Office 365 package. So you just go online, microsoftstream.com, and log in with your OLU credentials and stuff. And then you search Campus Recreation, and then you can see some of our previous yoga videos or Pilates videos, stuff like that, from this past semester. So that's available to you, for this week, and of course over the break as well. I know it's sometimes tough to get motivated as I look outside and it's 7 o'clock and it's pitch black out. A lot of times it can be tough to find that motivation to go to the gym and stuff. But I will say that, there's lots of studies and lots of supporting evidence for the fact that exercise really helps you boost, it boosts your mood and it boosts your brain power. So it may seem counterintuitive, like you've got to do all this studying in order to do well on your tests, but also so you may not think you have time to exercise. You may think you can only pick one or the other. However, I think a healthy combination of both is your best bet, because the exercise releases dopamines and things like that to your brain that help your brain function, and you'll do better on your exams with that in mind, just exerting some physical energy. So it is recommended you get about 150 minutes a week of exercise. You think, whoa, that's a lot. But it's really not. It's 2-hour workouts and a half-hour workout, or just 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. And 30 minutes, I mean, it goes by pretty quick when you're doing it. You can always throw on some music or throw on some Netflix, and it goes by even faster. At least for me, it does. So, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do campus rec wise and physical activity wise to do that. And then another thing that I found that I didn't even really think of till I was doing some research to tell you guys was really exercise is anything that gets your heart rate up. So it can be raking leaves outside, stuff like that you might not think of as exercise. Technically it counts. It gets the blood flowing, gets your heart pumping. And yeah, so go for walks around the block, go to a park and take a couple laps for 25, 30 minutes. Get creative. COVID has made us all get as creative as we can. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, go check those videos out, y'all. I got to admit, as I was watching them, previewing them to post, I was doing exercises and stretches, you know, which I have to remember to do. Is I sit in my chair and I grumble and I, as I do things, and I have to remember to stretch. So don't forget to stretch, y'all, and hydrate. And I say that as the person who has no water within their reach and is surrounded by cords. So I'm seeing everybody drinking stuff, and I'm like, oh. But that's fine. That's fine. I do have a question. Okay, so often this is what happens, right? I start thinking about stuff, and this is just me. But I start thinking about stuff, and I'm like, let me go for a walk. And I often find too that then I want to write something down. And when we talked about stuff for StudyCon this year, I threw out that I was thinking something on journaling. And of course, Sister Christina was like, yeah, journaling. And I'm like, yeah, journaling. Because we're writers and I'm a writer. And that's what I do. So I'm really excited for that video. Go check that out. Their journaling video. You'd be surprised. Oh, Dr. Zabetha's hanging out in our YouTube chat and she's saying dance too. Yeah, but you don't want to see me dance, Dr. Zabetha. You really don't. It ain't going to be nice. You're going to need a little counseling after that. Let's just say this. I dance like a penguin whose feet are stuck in the mud. And that's a visual. Think about that. But, there are a lot of things. Oh, Sam, the reference assistant for the library, is in also the YouTube chat. So let me do a little bit of announcement before I have a good question for y'all for this panel of great people here, or anybody who wants to chime in. Let me make an announcement. Loteria is going on. Library is hosting Loteria. The next round is at 7:30. So in a minute, I'm going to drop a link here in the YouTube chat, and I'll put it on the LibGuide side also, that you can get into a round of Loteria with Sam and maybe win some prizes. So Loteria with the library, which is awesome. You should see the Loteria cards that they have. Don't forget, our library is celebrating an anniversary this year, as well as the entire university. So we're just furthering the birthday celebrations for them. The libguides.alusa.edu/StudyCon Online. Remember, OLU students, that's where you can find all of our StudyCon material. Links to the tutoring rooms, to the math Jeopardy and accounting Jeopardy games. We've got Bernard and Rachel hanging out in those, waiting to play games with people, because you'd be surprised what you can learn when you play a little game and have some fun. So I have another question for this wonderful group of people right now that are talking about this. And it fits mind, body, and spirit. As we approach 2021, how do we feel about goals? And I'm not talking your retro standard, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution. I'm just talking about goals in general. In 2021, I am making a goal to try not to be so snarky. And this is an example. I don't know if I'm snarky all the time. If I am, please tell me. But how do we feel about goals? I think they can be helpful, even though it's kind of hard to stick with them. But I think they can be helpful. And so I always encourage people, set goals for yourself. It's okay if you don't make them. But, as long as you try, What do we think?
So, Janet and I were actually talking about this earlier today. It'll probably be something that we cover a lot at the beginning of spring semester from the Olu Wellness Center. And so I'll definitely let Janet chime in as well. I'm thinking that, I mean, I think goals are great, right? I think they're wonderful to use as potentially like a guide, help kind of like reground us, right? When we find ourselves getting a little off track. But again, I start thinking about expectations. What sorts of expectations are we placing on ourselves when we're setting these goals? And are the goals aligned with our priorities and our values again? Like, you know, I feel I could always go back to that. And, you know, I think they have to be, you know, Janet and I, when we were talking about SMART goals, right? Like we can have an overarching, oftentimes resolutions are broken or not followed through with because there's such a large goal. We set the goal for the entire year. And when we're looking at an entire year goal, that can be really overwhelming when we're like, oh my gosh, it's only been 7 days and I still have the entire year to follow through with this. So you can, it's not wrong or bad to set large goals, but you definitely have to break it down to more manageable pieces that you don't become overwhelmed and start thinking that it's not something that you can accomplish. Janet, go ahead and add.
Oh, I was just going to say, I completely agree with you because when you and I were talking yesterday or today, we were talking about setting a goal for the year and then maybe feeling like right away when you're struggling with that beginning part, you're thinking, how am I going to make this whole year? So it's, to me, set your goal, but then go back and set increments, you know, say, okay, so if I want to, if I want to do whatever it is within a year, like say I want to lose, 40 pounds in the year. So every quarter, then I want to lose 10. Okay, so that's a lot more doable, right? I mean, and it's a lot more reasonable in your mind. And so I think that it's with any goal. I mean, if you're going to say, maybe you're Sabrina writes, maybe she wants to write a certain amount by a time. It's better to kind of benchmark it out a little bit so that you can meet those small goals on the way to the big goal.
And I also think that it's really important to like reserve the right to modify your goals.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, right, if we had all held on, like white knuckled the goals we set for ourselves at the beginning of 2020, like we were in for a huge surprise with how the year went, right? And so we need to be able to like modify and adjust those goals and expectations accordingly to account for life and life circumstances and be compassionate with ourselves when changes happen, right? There are things outside of our control that can impact us being able to move forward with a goal. And that's not something to be down on ourselves about.
Right. I mean, because life is happening. And like I shared with Jackie, I'm getting ready to go back to school. Well, I wanted to maybe go in the fall, but I decided to go in the spring instead for some life reasons. And it just, I could be upset with myself, or I can just say it's better for me to start in the spring because that's when I'm going to be more prepared and these other things are going to be more settled. And that's okay. It's okay to adjust, and it's okay to say, maybe that was a little too lofty, or maybe I need to change a little bit. That's okay. They're kind of like a living document, and you can make changes.
And I agree with that. I think from the sort of a sense of yourself and your fullness, what are your gifts? Who are you? Goals can help you just even making them, even if you have no intention of completing them in a way, right? I mean, they could be like, oh, what's calling you? Either that is calling me, and I really throw myself at it, or I don't, and it's not calling me. But I think the part of, we do this a lot within, say, our faith or spiritual, or just our sort of our spiritual lives, and it's usually resting on the goal is like what we want, and often what we're saying, you say if you're, you learn kind of through spiritual direction, you learn through with other means, that just really talking through and learning your story, that sometimes what we want is not really what we want. So a lot of times you might be here and think, oh, I really want to be a lawyer, right? I want to be that. And maybe you started out at, first time at like 6 years old, you just blurted out to everybody in your family, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. And then all of a sudden your parents and someone's saying, oh, this is my kid, it's going to be a lawyer. And you're like, oh, get this little shot of, I don't know, dopamine. You feel good or whatever. And that's your story. That becomes the narrative that you feel comfortable in. You get to college and you have this time really to find yourself. And I think that's what you're here for, in a way, for not just, oh, I want to come here, get a job, but you're really here to find yourself in a larger sense. What your vocation is, what's calling you. And sometimes that means, and well, most of the time it usually means listening kind of beyond yourself, right? That's the prayer, that's the mindfulness, that's the meditation. And, the journaling is really helpful if you do that regularly, because you can see across time those things that are common, and you can see those things that really weren't. Oh, I had this goal. I was going to become, I can look back in I was going to become an NBA player. Well, okay, maybe at 5, whatever, 6, that probably wasn't going to happen or something. It's like, okay, but maybe, there's something about that, athletics and coaching and sport teaching, education. Maybe there's something in there that's wider, but we have to sit and we have to listen to it. So the goals can help us see what's like calling us. And it can be a way that, it's some measure that we can use to check in with ourselves, but we don't have to sort of follow it religiously in essence. So but I think going back to that, that goal can help us to see either what's calling us forward or what's really not. And both of those are instructive, kind of like the fear earlier, the fear or the desire. One's calling you forth, the other's seemingly pushing you away, but it's really letting you see just from another perspective what's calling you forth. And so I think really with tracking that, then you can start to see, okay, what is it that's calling me, and maybe what is that really resonates with my true self. And that might not be the thing that got you all this sort of applause every time at a family gathering. Oh, this is my kid's who's going to be the lawyer. Oh yes, but then you realize, I think I would hate that. I would hate it. So and that's okay. But that's what's your life, what's calling you for. So the goals can really, I think, help you with all of those things, right? But that takes some time, and sometimes in the thick of, oh my God, I got to make a 85 on this, kinesiology test, or I'm doomed in this class or something. I got to repeat. It's like, it's hard to step back sometimes. But really, but this is also in the crucible of all this, in the furnace of it, it's really also a good time to check in, because you can really have the rubber hit the road here and really figure out what's calling you for. And goals are, I think, a good way for that.
No, yeah, definitely. I was putting in I put in the YouTube chat that I was thinking of, like, I was thinking for 2021 for myself to make, like, one kind of spiritual goal. I do get back to reading my Bible. I have.
Could I add one thing though?
Yes.
Sorry, I know I had a lot of, but I think one of the things that's really important now is to think about the now, to embrace the now. Because and I would say, like, why wait till 2021 to start, start checking in with yourself? Why wait till then? You can do that now. And so I think we ought to, I got to get everything in line, and then I did this too. I write this and do this, but I need to sharpen all my pencils first. Well, okay, they're all sharpened, and well, now I need, I need to clean under the refrigerator. But it's like, why not take the now, And I think there's the place. There's something really powerful about that. And so I think that when we say, oh, I'll go pray or go do this, it's like, you don't, not necessarily praying every day, but making every day your prayer. Seeing every day as sacred, as a moment to embrace. And I think we have to start there. Start with just wake up and just name something you're grateful for. Changes your outlook throughout. In the happiness series, like Satpal Singh, who was from the Sikh tradition, he'll say like sort of a mantra of thank you. If you just repeat a thank you every day, you're really meditating 24 hours a day. Just repeating thank you, repeating that, and it changes your body chemistry as well as your thought process, right? So there's something physiological there, and that's part of. I think it's really important to embrace the now for your goals.
Very true. As we say in the Jedi Order, be mindful of the present. Always be mindful of the present. So yeah, definitely. Maria, did you want to jump in on something?
Well, I was just thinking, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. It says I'm muted, but I'm not. Okay, so I was just thinking about this when you brought up goals, because this is something I've thought a lot about in this last year of 2020, starting in March when we went on quarantine. And because I'm one of these people that writes the goals in January 1st. And just like you were saying, Creighton, like, I got to get everything perfect, then I can start working on my goals. And I never actually make very much progress. But so this year, in having this time at home when we were thinking about it, I started to read a lot about goals and specifically habits. And one of the things that I read was that was really insightful to me, and maybe this seems silly, but I thought it was good. It was, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And I thought that was really interesting because it was more about, you can have a goal that you write down, I'm going to do this, or I want to be 20 pounds lighter, or I want to read the Bible every day, or whatever it is. But that's not an action plan for, carrying that out. And so how do you go from nothing to wherever it is that you want to go? And how do you build the habit, right? How do you put something into your daily routine that isn't part of your daily routine at all? And there's all these kinds of tricks and little things that I learned along the way. So if anybody wants any recommendations on books on habit formation, let me know, and I'm happy to pass along those titles. But I just thought that was very interesting that, it's about that part of having the goals are really important to know, like what your priorities are, like Jackie was saying, and everything. But also having a day-to-day kind of plan of habits that you follow. And so I started doing a habit tracker. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that, but it's kind of like a grid, and you write down all the daily habits that you want to have, and you mark them down every day. And so it's kind of silly, and you can color and make them different color coded, and that's kind of silly and fun. But I found it very interesting and very helpful, and just that idea about, that you need to have a structure and a system in place if you want to kind of reach those goals.
That's probably also where the journaling, the Sister Christina and I had kind of talked about in that, bullet journaling, things like that. That's often where that can come in handy. Is to help kind of keep track of those things. I did very true. Oh, Laura, one of our professional tutors in the YouTube chat, has just said it's called the execution gap. Having the goal, but not having a plan and accountability to execute. I live in that gap. Why do I always learn something about myself during this event? Wow. Okay. That's okay though. I don't have to live in that gap. I can climb out. But definitely a lot of good stuff. I can hear Dr. K down the hall laughing at me. We had some time on here for advising and student advocacy to come on and just say a few words. I hope I sent them the correct links. I know that Nicholas Schultz may be getting a new addition to his family tonight. Let's keep them in mind and spirit in that for the safety of that baby coming. But also just to, keep in mind too, students, if y'all have questions about things, don't hesitate to ask your advisor. Please talk to your advisor. They have resources and all kinds of things that can help. But you got to reach out to them and you got to talk to them. I'm stuck in a gap. I'm in a gap. But you know what? Thank you, Dr. J, Janet, Creighton, everybody, Kyle. Thank y'all so much for just kind of having this conversation. Because I think, maybe my hope is always that something we talk about here reaches somebody who may need it. And that's, it's why we do these things, right? But wonderful, wonderful stuff. Again, y'all go check out the LibGuides page for all the StudyCon content. All the videos are on there. We have blasted that link in plenty of places. It's on the YouTube chat. It's on the flyer that you got probably in your email earlier today. I know you get a lot of flyers, but I know it was in there. Yeah, go check that out and, see if maybe something there will help. You never know. I know we've got a couple of consultants on the call. Jason, Christy, are y'all there?
I am here. This is Jason.
Hey, buddies. So yes, I put something in place in the schedule, and if y'all looked at the agenda, you would see that I kind of just stuck it in there. What we're calling the consultant chat. I shortened it to con chat, but then I thought, wait a minute, that could have a negative connotation. So I left it at consultant chat. And I titled it Final Exams Cometh. Yes, they do.
Much like the Iceman?
Much like the Iceman. Don't bring up ice. I'm cold. I do have to do something. This is going to be a little bit of showboating. Sam from the library has been trying for many, many months now to get me to wear a top hat on a live stream. And said I would never do it. But I will do it this once. So.
I feel like we need a drum roll.
All right. Here's my top hat. Gotta wear a little jaunty. Okay. So there it is. There's the top hat. It lives. It is true. It is real for anybody who ever doubted when I said I have a top hat. I do have a top hat. Oh, Sam's freaking out in the YouTube chat. It traveled with me from London to Scotland and back home. I got a lot of strange looks while I was in the UK. When I got to America, I got a lot of hey, like your hat. So yes, I wear it appropriately though. But here's the top hat.
I'm surprised it took you this long to wear it on a.
I know, because I wore it in the office several times.
Exactly.
I just
Proudly.
didn't. I just was like, wasn't going to do it for a live stream, but here I am. So yes, final exams. We talk about this every year, y'all. We talk about as the anticipation that builds for this. Now I know this year's a little bit different. This semester is a little bit different because I suspect that some people may have already taken finals. But some of y'all may still have. Finals coming up starting on Friday and that. So, we have something planned for this next about 15 minutes or so. And for anybody who's been watching our Playing the Ace series on our YouTube page, go check it out now. First off, I'd like to congratulate our team and everybody who helped us and came on and collaborated with us. We produced 12 straight weeks of content for Playing the Ace. For people who planned and talked about things, but we just hadn't moved forward with it just for reasons. I'm very proud of us. And I think that there's a lot of information in there. So it's not just showboating, y'all. Seriously. There's different episodes. There's always something that you can probably take away from them. Go check them out. Everything from unpacking your syllabus, understanding that your syllabus is that guide, to how to write to your professor. an important one. How do you email your professor? You know, hey, Jason boy, see ya. I've just been told in the YouTube chat that someone wants to play Monopoly with me. Am I looking? I feel like I look like Mr. Peanut, but that's just me. So playing the ace has a lot of potential information there, and I think it could be beneficial to y'all. Go check that out. What we do plan to do, and we have it on the schedule, and I recruited Jason and Christy into this, and I didn't tell them they were going to be part of this episode, but you are part of this episode. Yay, welcome. We're going to do a live episode of Playing the Ace. And everybody here, please participate in our episode. So, hang on. Let's see if I can do this right. I'm probably not going to do this right. Probably.
Do you have a soundboard? Do you have a soundboard?
I wish I had a soundboard.
Oh.
Should
We're
I
gonna cue up the theme or something? Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to try. I don't know if y'all can hear it.
I can see it.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm the only one who can hear it then. Needless to say, our intro theme is playing. And yes, that is Playing the Ace. That is our title card. Okay, now I'm going to get out of here. So welcome, anybody on the live stream. Welcome to the first ever and probably only live edition of Playing the Ace. I'm Sabrina. And today, Jason and Christy and Miss Janet Huppel, we're going to talk a little bit about learning strategies. Because, of course, we can always look at how we learn and how we can, maybe right now, especially adapt some of how we learn to maybe ease this online learning that we're all in, online work and online learning. Janet, the floor is yours for what can we learn about learning strategies?
Well, I think one thing we can learn is how do we take in information the best? Like, what is the best way for us to study? What is the because we might not even realize about ourselves how whether we're visual learners, whether we do really well with auditory. Like this semester was interesting because the undergraduate students got their textbooks provided, but most of them were digital. And so there was discussion. There were some students who didn't like that and some that loved it. I think that's partly because some people, and I bet some of us would have ideas too. Some of us like to read, but we want to hold the book, right? And some people want to read and they're okay with it being on the screen. So I think if we can find out what strategies benefit us, that can help us with our studying, because if we find the way that we really respond to, then we can use that way. We have a lot of different strategies, and we tap in, like Dr. K was saying, we tap into a lot of different strategies. Definitely. I was even thinking when Kyle was talking about movement and exercise, there's ways that you can learn related to that. So I think it's really important. I did post, I think Sabrina hasn't posted a little quiz that I made. And if you take the quiz, you can kind of see how you come out as far as what strategies would benefit you. And then you can use the QR code or the link to have some ideas. So for example, one thing I noticed is that making flashcards was something that, or using flashcards was something that is across modalities. It's visual because you can see it, but it's kinesthetic because you're using your muscles to write it and read it and hear it. So if you will write yourself, have you ever noticed that? Remember the professors that would let you write a card? Like you can use an index card. You're writing the card and you're writing so small because you don't want to leave anything out. Well, part of that is that your motor memory is working on that. And then also you're reading the information to yourself and that kind of thing. So when you're done writing the card, you don't even need it because you already know the information. But thinking about those kinds of things, something that I recommend a lot is making flashcards and using Post-it notes. And if you know me, you know that I love Post-it notes. But you can use a Post-it note to quiz yourself. So make the flashcard, like say you have vocabulary to learn for your course. So maybe you have the term on one side and the definition on the other side. So put all the definitions out and then make yourself a set of Post-its to practice. And then you just can peel them off and do it over again the next day. Because one of the things I think we didn't talk about quite as much, but I think it's important, is that you can't dedicate all your energy to one thing. You have to, if you get saturated with your science class, then you start studying for something different. You know what I mean? Take a break and work on math for a while, or take a break and do some exercise and then do some work on your English paper. Don't spend it all on one thing, because you need that break. You need the mental break too. But there are lots of things that you can do for like auditory, reading things out loud to yourself. Maybe you're the person, even though you're a good reader, you want to read out loud, like read a book out loud or read the material out loud so that you can understand it better. Because some of us do respond well to listening to that. So I think
I was just going to jump in real quickly, Janet, because the thing that is so true about that is when you're working on a paper, if you read the paper out loud, you'll hear if it makes sense very quickly. Right. And if you're studying poetry and you're really stumbling on it, if you read it out loud, it makes so much more sense. It's almost meant to be read out loud. And those are little things that can be very powerful in helping you learn.
I agree. And I think even if you have one thing, like when you're writing a paper or when you're something like that, if I've been working on something for a long time, sometimes I need to put it down for a minute or ask a partner to read to me, because I'm reading in what I think is there, because I know what I meant, but I might realize that I left out a word or I spelled something wrong, and I might not see it because, your brain fills in the gaps, so I think it's important to do that. I used to have a professor actually at the lake, and she would always say, put some other eyes on your paper. So true, because maybe we feel like our writing is personal and we don't want to share, but we need to share, because we need to make sure that we're giving our best effort, right? And we're putting our best writing forward, because our thoughts are definitely there.
And of course, that's what we do at the Writing Center. We actually encourage you to read those things out loud and really think about them and talk to us about them and listen to what you're saying and how you're saying it.
Exactly. And I'm always telling people to go to the Writing Center and do that, because what I tell them is, you're sitting here and you're trying to think of another word to say instead of that word that you've been using over and over. But we have professionals, they can help you. They can think of a different word and they can help you look at it with different eyes, with fresh eyes. Because I think that's really important, because it's not that you're not doing a good job, but you still need support, and that's okay. It's okay to ask, and it's okay to have that. Good grief, I wish we had that when I was going to school a really long time ago. but anyway, I think that's really I think it's important to look at when you're I was thinking about some of the things from the different styles, and like just talking about like how spatially oriented a person is. Like, do you because if you're really spatial, you probably remember where something is on the page. Like, you remember that you read it somewhere, where it was. Oh, it was a chart and it was near the middle of the chapter or whatever. But then some people are going to be more of like, that's some people, they can totally, if they think long enough, they can remember it because they're going to picture it, right? But then other people, it's a different thing. Like, they remember hearing it, they remember what the professor said, they remember reading it on a PowerPoint, whatever it is. But kind of tap into your strength, right? And that's kind of the idea behind my little quiz, is to tap into your strength and find some strategies that can help you retain that material and be able to retrieve it. So.
And just as a way to swing back to some things that have already been brought up too, is we can study when we go out and walk, or if we're bike riding, and we have phones now. So if you're thinking about something or you're processing ideas for your paper, you can actually dictate right in your phone. You don't even have to carry like a little pad to write it down. I know I like movement, and so sometimes when I walk, I come up with a lot more ideas. And it's really nice now to have a phone to dictate some of that information in. So movement and thinking and adding the visuals can be very powerful ways of learning. So we should tap into all of those.
Oh, definitely.
And having tutors is really great, because you can sit and talk to somebody about what you're learning, and as you're talking about it, you're reinforcing it into your long-term memory.
Right, because you're processing that information again with that person, so it's going to a higher level of your thinking. And I think thinking about your walks and that kind of thing. A lot of our students that have an accommodation, or even if they don't have official accommodations, they record the lectures, and they can record them with their phones. So as you're taking a walk, go ahead and listen to that one more time. You know, I'm the kind of person that I want to write it down, but then I'm going to want to listen to it too, to make sure I didn't miss anything, and so I can think more about it. So do that. Or now that we have the digital textbook, listen to that while you're walking or doing something. So, but I do think, like, there's so much benefit from working with someone, with another person, like in the ACE, working with a writing tutor, working, whatever subject you're working on, you have papers that you need to write and presentations to develop. So definitely tap into that. And we have our wonderful math and science tutors as well. So
If I may,
I always encourage people to do that.
If I may just jump in too, just real quick, kind of talking about the replaying the lecture, if the student's able to record them. I think one of our goals for developing Playing the ACE was the possible portability of that information, so that students, if they have some downtime in the hallway and they want to just stream something, and like, oh, what's this? The ACE, isn't that place over in the library? What is this? You know, and they can sit down and watch or just listen. I know there's a platform for YouTube where you can just basically stream all the audio you want. You don't have to watch the video, because unfortunately in YouTube, if you want to watch or even just listen to something, you have to watch the video. Otherwise it shuts off. But in any case, the student now has this information in their pockets, if you will. And so now they have that extra modality that they can do, where they don't have to be in whatever workspace they may have been stuck in, and now they want to take that refreshing walk, or they are just going to another classroom, or they're walking to their car, or even if they played in their car on their drive to work or drive home. That's one of the things I know that we discussed when developing and the production meetings, if you will, was just to say, look, this does have to be short and peppy, but it has to be chock full of information that the students can possibly take away. And Janet, you did a great job mentioning a lot of strategies that we as writing consultants will often do, which is the reading, or having the students themselves do the reading so they can hear, as I like to use the term, how they can hear how the words play. Because viewing them and then even hearing them in our little, Morgan Freeman or Emma Thompson narrator voice doesn't always give us what we need to have for that clarity, for that directive, or that direction rather, for the narrative we're trying to construct. So I'm glad you mentioned all those strategies, because that's honestly, we tap into those just about every day. And we still do that on the virtual platform. Sometimes I need a break because I have allergies and my throat gets dry. So I want the student to read, but sometimes that's my go-to. Because if I've worked with that student, I've seen them excel at connecting the dots. Oh, okay, I can change this. Awesome. Or I can work in this way with this sentence. I can organize it in a way that's a little bit more clear because I have that ability now to understand what I was trying to say versus what came out on the page. And so that's something that we utilize quite a bit in the center. Christy, do you have any experiences where we've utilized some of the aforementioned strategies or anything like that?
Well, I know you mentioned, I always go back to reading this paper. So I go back and forth. What's interesting is that they read it sometimes they actually wrote, they wrote what they meant to say, and so I try to, okay, said this. It's like, well, yeah, like, okay, that's not what's on your paper though. So either you change it or, we need to find out what you're really trying to say. So yeah, I it is interesting when that happens. And that's why I try to get them to read, but we also understand not everyone's into that. And so it's not like we're hard bound by that. So that's really all the input I have.
Sometimes too, that's why I have asked, a student to read something. Or else, if I'm reading for so long, I'll pick up and say, oh, you know what, can you keep reading? To give them that opportunity. Again, it's just something else. All of this points to another reason why sometimes working with another person, working with a tutor, working with a writing consultant can be eye-opening as to things that maybe just kind of fall under the radar. Especially the more you work on it. Especially with tutoring, I think sometimes it's a level of frustration of like, I should keep trying to work on it and I can't figure it out. And it's like, okay, let's go step by step. Work with the tutor and go step by step and see. And you'd be surprised when they're like, oh, that's where I messed up. And it's like, or that's where I was getting lost. Okay, now we have a direction where we can move. Same with writing, right? We see that all the time. Many of our appointments can either or sometimes are just brainstorming sessions. Say you just want to work out a topic with somebody. We'll listen. We'll listen and talk and be like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a cool idea. Oh, what if we did this? Oh, you could do that. And sometimes that helps. I had many people last week who are, who really just want to talk their ideas. Right now there's a lot of people writing personal statements, and I've had some who are like, I just want to talk to you. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Like, okay, yeah, you could do that. What's your prompt? What's this? But there are a lot of benefits to it as you develop as a learner and you find the things that work for you. Sometimes you can actually find something that works for you when you get some help from like a tutor or a professional or something like that. That can be revealing. And you'll find that I've had students who we've seen students who are like, I never thought reading aloud would kind of help me see like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what I was doing, or this is where I went off track. Yeah. It really does tell you something. Yes, Dr. Kopach. Yes, Dr. J. You can if you're writing a journal article. Well, read journal articles for publication. We've worked with several faculty members on journal articles and large-scale publications and just help them review and read through it. And you know what? Let me put yes, I'm getting a note via chat. Yes, reminders. Again, libguides.alusa.edu/StudyCon Online. You can find all of the video content there. You can find the raffle drawing for the awesome book basket. Say that 5 times. Book basket that Christy has put together. If you want to know more about that, a little about that, check out her video. Her top 5 books of 2020. Some great books there. I have like things I want to read now. And as always, when I look for something to read, I go to Christy and be like, Christy, what are you reading? We have the prayer wall. If you have some prayer intentions, if you go, oh, Dr. K, you got to say something so that it'll turn to you. Hang on. There we go.
Here we're having our wonderful book basket raffle, and it is the Hunger Games series, and in a beautiful basket. And look at it. As you read, you can journal. So put your name in to win this great prize. Thank you, Christy, one of our professional Mary Francine Dennis writing consultants.
That shrink wrap is an acoustic nightmare.
It's like an ASMR video.
No, that's the kind of ASMR I don't like. Side note, ASMR. Okay, look, guys, I never thought I would do it, but I sleep so well with ASMR. Just a little thing. Give it a try if it's something, just to give it a try. Okay, you never know. It could help. Helps me concentrate. I get a lot of writing done. But yes, so back to LibGuides. Yes, we have our prayer wall. So again, go put your prayer intentions for yourself, for friends, for others. The link is posted. We've got tutor availability, the study games, the Loteria. Sam's probably wrapping up the Loteria game, depending who's in there. The raffle is on there, and all of it's right there, smack in the center right when you go to the LibGuides page. The link is posted several places. You got a flyer earlier with it. Okay, so go check it out. We're gonna leave it up. Must be a student to win. Must be just Olu affiliated. I would, because everybody comes to StudyCon. Even when we do StudyCon in person, think about it. Everybody comes and they get a bracelet, and so you know what? They could win. Something could win. Yes, Sister Christina, if you want to enter, go enter. Yeah, go enter. You check it out. But thank you to Christy for always. If you've in the last several years, if you've ever won a book or any set at StudyCon, Christy donates a lot of that, and we're always very appreciative of it. But they're talking about the Hunger Games. Better than Twilight. Yeah. So listen, we're nearing 8:00, and while we started late, and I'd love to go late, I've lost feeling in my fingers. I forgot my gloves at home. And the top hat does not do anything for warmth. So, this has been a good stream. We had our blessing, and that blessing is always such a beautiful thing. And I hope that all of our students, whether it's finishing finals, whether it's going into the holidays, or just wrapping up this 2020 year, I hope that maybe something tonight, something on StudyCon, something has reached you if it's something that you need. Dr. K, yes, but I'm cold. I'm cold. I'm sorry. Look, I'm getting old and I've lost my ability to handle the cold. But I hope that for anybody out there, something tonight maybe has kind of reached and touched on something that you needed. You never know, I think. And I always seem to find something. I always at least walk away from StudyCon with something, learning something about myself, learning something about others, helping others. And I hope maybe that something has reached out to you. If you're watching this, even if you're watching it after we've live streamed, please know all of these people here today, we are here for you. We are here to help. We are here to talk to. Though we cannot be physically in person, that doesn't change anything. We're still here. Every day that I wake up and I sit in front of that computer, I'm thinking about our students, and every day when I go to sleep, I'm thinking about our students. Just trying to make sure that we can get as much as we can out there for you. So we're here, okay? Everybody is here. And we are thinking about you, and we are hoping for you, and we are praying for you. And, you know, you have a lot of help and a lot of resources, okay? Go check out those mindfulness snack videos from University Ministry. They are amazing. I loved them. Yes, I watch all the content that I post for StudyCon. Grab an appointment with one of us, with Jason or Christy, with myself, with Amy, with any of our tutors, with Laura, with Rachel, with Bernard. You could even bug Dr. Cheshire, even though he's very busy. With Sister Ann. Sister Ann, she's always thinking about y'all. Grab an appointment with them. Even if you don't want to turn your camera on, it's okay. Let us just hear your voice. We just want to hear your voice. Counseling services is available for you. The Olu Wellness, right? We've got accessibility services, and Miss Janet, always there for you. We've got Dr. J, who's always, always, always thinking about our students and our people. We've got, like I said, University Ministry advising. Go talk to your advisor if something is of a concern to you. All of these people here are here for you. I cannot emphasize that enough. My friends, my colleagues, mentors, wise Jedi, all of y'all. Do we have anything else that we want our students to know? Speak freely, everyone, but one at a time.
Yeah, just want y'all to know that you're supported, and to make sure to reach out. You don't have to do this alone. And that's why we're here for you, and that's why we provided all those resources. I'm sorry, could y'all even hear me?
We can hear
Am I unmuted now? I tried to chime in earlier, and it said I could just press the space bar and I would be unmuted, and it was wrong. But comments that you all were making about, especially what Janet was saying about, these were all couched in sort of writing concepts, but it all applies equally to there with you, somebody to bounce out, somebody to explain to, or just to reread what you have done, even if it's a math problem. I have often found that if I can just be there, or a tutor can be there reading with a student what they have done, then they realize that they didn't write what they thought they were trying to write as far as solving that math problem. So I think that the whole spirit of this event is really to show you that you have a host of people here to help you, and you reach out to us. We're ready to help.
Students, I would say that cramming work and they need to sleep. That's all I will say. That's probably, I never did that in college because I knew your brain doesn't retain information well if you're asleep. It just doesn't work. So I know it seems like a good idea to try to stay up overnight and take that test in the morning. Trust me, it's not. And by the time you're thinking it is, it's already too late. That's all I have to say.
All right, Christy, I'll go to sleep. You can stop yelling at me. Yes, in the YouTube chat, be careful of how much caffeine and energy drinks you partake of, okay? Please be careful. Oh, we had some tutors one time. They were coffee addicts. I mean, I could be careful. Be careful. Make sure that you eat good meals, that you have a sandwich, have something. And it's cold, have a hot meal. Sister Ann just walked in. But get that sleep. I'm just going to push for it again, but I'll push for it again. ASMR works. You want to tell everybody hi, Sister Ann?
Hey, y'all. Hang on here. Hello, this is Sister Ann with a mask. Good luck, everybody, with, oh, I'm sorry, I'm breathing on.
No, I don't want to breathe on you.
Good luck with finals and all that stuff. And if I can help you with your math, let me know. Have fun.
Seriously, Sister Ann misses y'all. She misses working with students. It's been hard. It's been an adjustment. It's been hard. I do some of y'all, and I see a lot of students I regularly work with, but we do miss y'all. One day when it is safe, we will get back to being able to be in person. But thank you, Sister Ann. The vaccine. It sounds like a herald, like the vaccines are coming. And be like Paul Revere. Oh, with my hat. The vaccines are coming. Let's hope, right? Let's all hope and keep the faith, right? Yes. Hope will be coming. But anybody else want to sign off with anything before we end our stream? Anybody else? None? Jason?
I would just, maybe my parting thought would be to be excellent to one another. The wise poets Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and Ted Theodore Logan would have us go in peace and be excellent to each other.
Sabrina, I was just going to say, for any of the students out there, even if you're not registered with me, or even if you don't think you would qualify, I hope that if you need something, that you will reach out anyway. Because even if I can't work with you in that capacity, I'm happy to help you in any other way that I can. So, and I think all of us would feel the same, but I don't want you to feel like you can't reach out to us, even if you think that might not be our role. We want you to have a contact and have relationships. So, so please, if you need something or you think I can help in any way, please reach out to me.
Yes, everybody is here. Jason and Christy just left. They have appointments, so I wish them the best. Thank y'all very much, my friends, for being on here. Anybody else? Dr. J, Brayton, anything?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that we're here. Like Janet said, don't hesitate to email or contact us. We do have tutors available tonight. Now, just go to the schedule. Remember to study, but to take breaks, to interact with people, to get good sleep. And to know you have a lot of support and people around here who want to help you succeed. So please remember us and come visit us.
And I would like to remind everybody that counseling services is available to you throughout the duration of the winter break. There are various options for how you can be connected to a therapist to receive any mental or emotional support. And so if you have any questions or concerns, want to schedule an appointment anytime, this is literally all the way through the break, please reach out to us so we can make sure we get you connected.
Okay. We are at 8 o'clock and the bell tolls. And really, that was just my stomach growling because I'm hungry. So StudyCon Online Fall 2020. It has been quite a semester and quite a year, but we will look forward to the things that come with 2021, and we will look forward to the things that come tomorrow. I wish you all the best. Good luck on final. Take care. We are here. Email us. I even put the Writing Center email in the YouTube chat. Send me an email. I check it. Every morning, every day. Even on the weekends when we won't go there, but even on the weekends, I will check it. For those prepping for graduation, all of our seniors, congratulations. Congratulations. The future is getting a many great people from our graduates. And so we leave you with that. Take care, spread some kindness, wear your mask,